Are you guys wearing pants? That's the most important question at the moment.
Yes, I'm wearing pants.
I'm wearing sweatpants, so it's a good thing I'm not happy in the pants.
Okay. Well, Tom, you're wearing pants?
Fuck no.
Why are you not wearing? Oh, well, I mean, you don't have to wear pants. We're not showing ourselves.
I never wear pants. That's my secret.
I like how you think.
Oh,
That's
Tom,
good.
Show me the assless chaps.
Those are for special occasions.
Yes.
All right,
Andre just learned what those are too.
Well, I'll take you to dinner first.
Wait a minute.
Your time, my friend.
All right.
Andre just learned what assless chaps are?
Wait, what?
Yeah, the other day.
Is this breaking news?
Was that on the fourth wave?
Was that on the?
Wow,
No, I think that was on Mead.
Yeah, that was on you.
Right.
Just so everybody knows, my brother is actually in the chat. Hey, what's
Really?
up?
Nice.
Yes, he is.
Hi, Scott's brother.
Hello, Scott's brother.
Let's say hi to some of the people. Oh, wait a minute. We are live. So let's say hi to everybody.
Hi there.
I completely forgot I hit the live button. So welcome to Sporking News Podcast. This is a Sporking News dump. We have some great guests with us from Bounding into Comics, Supreme Heretic. Everyone else knows him as Drew. How you doing, Drew?
How's it going, my friend?
One of the best online resources for people like us. So what are you working on? Anything right now?
No, actually tonight I'm going to be finally, because I had a rough week this week. I was like battling acute fatigue and that kind of sucked. But I'm going to be getting back in the saddle and all my coverage from the Comic-Con, Wizard World Comic-Con in Cleveland last weekend. I'm going to have my stories up probably tomorrow. And then, of course, I think going forward, it's going to be an interesting, sort of powwow tomorrow among our own staff, because we got to actually kind of figure out now what exactly do we have to write about. So
that's a question I was actually going to ask you. So let's hold off on that. And we're going to come back to you because I do have a question about that. Is it going to hit your industry? But let's move over to Script Doctor, because you're another person in a different industry. If people don't know, Script Doctor is a writer / script doctor for Hollywood movies. At the moment, he is in between, but soon enough, I see you, if this does rebound, getting more jobs, because there will be strikes going on and things of that nature. Can you talk about that a bit?
Well, I can say that I've got 3 meetings lined up for early next month, so that's good potential work, which is nice. People are still looking to develop stuff, even though there are a lot of things on hold. So, yeah, it's a little iffy here. Not everybody knows what the heck is going on, which is kind of the rule of thumb in Hollywood anyways, even regardless of a virus like this. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, there are a lot more Skype meetings, a lot more Zoom conference calls, nothing on StreamYards privately yet, but that might be the case. Don't know, but all I know is that a lot of people are taking advantage of this situation to sort of look outside of the normal means of content creation and get people to help make some new jobs to rebound in the new year.
Now, let me ask you a question. Would you typically would you be flown out to Hollywood or wherever, they're located to do these interviews, or would it be some type of telecommunications or Skyping of, like that? If this wasn't happening right now?
If this wasn't happening, I most likely, okay. So if this wasn't happening and I didn't have a girlfriend with me in Canada, I would probably already be making those meetings in person anyways. But because I do have the girlfriend in Canada, I made the decision a month ago to not do a long-term visit out to LA. I've already been booking meetings and stuff online anyways, just because it's more convenient. So a lot of these producers and studio execs and agents and new managers like the convenience of on an evening, between 3 and 8 in the evening, they can go online and talk to potential new clients or talk to writers or friends like myself about what's going on in the business, what we're working on, what we're trying to get moving, instead of having to spend a whole time flying out, booking a place in a restaurant, or trying to book an office space for the day, or meeting at a park, or meeting at Muscle Beach, which I've had 2 of those, which has been kind of weird, or like a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird meetings in whatever place you can.
I think the Muscle Beach thing had nothing to do with that.
I'm having a feeling you're
no,
right.
the guy I was interviewing with was working out, and he was taking pitch meetings while he was working out because he needed the time to
Sure
exercise.
he was.
No, I met Lou Ferrigno my second time there. That was pretty cool.
Well, that's
the Hulk.
different.
Yeah, that's
Hulk,
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you, SD? Did your meeting involve leather clothing?
No.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes,
It
because
did
No
that's
clothing.
important.
That's what he said. No
There's
clothing.
no clothing at all. I was allowed to wear sandals. Sandals are my glasses.
Only sandals.
And suntan lotion. You need suntan
And honey,
lotion.
don't wear sandals and socks, please.
Oh, I would not let any person there apply suntan lotion on me. I don't know how legit that lotion would
Are
be.
you sure? I will pay you.
All right. Well, you are also hearing, because I haven't introduced you yet, Tom from Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark, Mary Mayhem's channel. He's everywhere.
Where
Tom
the
is
fuck am
one
I?
of you are one of the spirit animals of the fourth wave. I hope you know that.
Where am I?
Right now, you are wearing no pants and you are somewhere.
I need toilet paper.
You need toilet paper? Is this you?
I need more toilet paper. There's not enough toilet paper here. Somebody please bring me some more.
Is this the episode Trouble with Toilet Paper?
Yes, the trouble with
Those
toilet paper
toilet paper rolls appear to be gorged.
there's not enough. There's not enough toilet paper. No, none. Not enough.
I like it. I like it. We're going back to that one because I like it. So let's say hi to the
Oops, I didn't
chat.
mean to do that. I just hit the thing when you said, I'm going to go back to it here.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm messing around with this thing. So let's say hello to the chat. We got Angelus Draven in the house. Hello, Angelus. One of my definite. Everybody here is great supporters of me and the fourth wave, so I really appreciate that. We got a guy named Anthony Priest. I don't know who that is. It's my brother.
Christy and Angelus are already killing it modding right now.
So
Oh,
tell
they're
us
the
some
best.
good shit about Scott, Anthony.
Oh, you want to know a story though? When we were kids, he, I don't know what happened, but we were getting into now he's like 8 or 9 years older than me. So we were getting into an argument about something. He was probably like 14, 15. And he did one of those big brother things where it's like, I'll put my one arm behind my back. Go ahead and hit me. I'll put my other arm behind my back. And he's like, I'll get on my knees. And when he did that, I hit him and he picked me up and threw me into the fireplace. I had to get a whole stitch on my head. A whole stitch.
You fit into a fireplace?
No, I didn't fit. I definitely didn't fit in the fireplace. So we got Tyler Mango in the house. He is the mascot of the fourth wave, the great, according to Christy. If you are not subscribed to her channel, what are you doing even on mine?
And I hope you get well. I saw on Twitter you had a fall, and you're in a cast. So I really hope you're at the recovery.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Is that the story she's telling everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. So
I heard
Luke
it was porn
Shea.
related, so
I don't know Luke Shea, but he says my nephew's name is Hudson, so I don't know if that's who he's talking about. Hudson sent him the chat or sent him the link, so thank you, buddy. Oh yeah, it is my nephew he's talking about. Oh, we got a new guy coming in.
we got Comics
Welcome.
Division in the
Hey,
chat.
Comics is here.
Hello.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Is there
What's
a
up,
Comics
guys?
Division sighting? Really? That is awesome. We have Sci-Fi
Final
Nation.
Death Star. My
That's
God,
right in the flesh and blood.
man.
And we Final, are you there? Can I hear you?
Oh, can you not hear me?
Oh my god, I can hear him. This is
Oh.
working out great.
Yeah.
Wow.
And finally, I'm on a stream with Final again. Yes.
Wait,
Reunited, buddy.
who am I talking? Who is that? Who am I talking to?
Drew,
Oh, Drew. What's up, Drew?
what's going on, man?
It's been
You know I love you, Christy. Shush.
Yeah, I've missed you, my friend.
yeah, it's been a
Absolutely.
while.
Yep.
Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
As you can
Final.
see, we all have a lot of happy gay love for one another, guys.
Oh, yeah, it's
definitely,
been the happiest
definitely, a lot of bum, ba-na, ba-na-na.
Sure
Is that
seems
Bucky
like
Sanford song?
No,
no.
it did
he's
sound like
doing
that.
the,
That was the Blue Oyster, or
Yeah.
what is it?
Blue
Was that
Oyster
Blue
Cult?
Oyster Cult?
No.
No,
That wasn't Blue Oyster Cult.
What is it from Police Academy? It's the
Blue Oyster
Dun, dun,
Bar.
dun, dun,
The Blue
dun,
Oyster.
dun,
No.
dun, 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 dun.
That might be.
I have the
game.
fucking soundtrack. Hang on.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
we go.
Is it
I am not monetized. Yeah, that's Sanford and Son. But on when they go into the gay bar because they sent those guys
Oh
trying.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
bam.
Oh yeah, you're right. It
Yeah,
does
I know
go
what
like
you're
that.
talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got it right here. Hang on.
So while he's getting that ready, please remember, hit the like button, share this video. Let's get more people in here. There is also a tweet out there. Retweet that. Let's see what we got. Oh, here it is.
Well, now that final Death Star's in the air, I have to put on the leather pants.
That's it. Oh man, that's it.
Nice.
That is awesome.
That's great.
Grab a man and dance.
There we go.
Proctor!
You could jiggle the kuyans to that one.
That's fantastic. So, boys, how's everybody doing? Now, Final, you're out in Cali, right? So, how is California treating you guys right now?
Well, the governor today announced that there will be no bars, brew pubs, wineries are all to be closed. So they're not supposed to be open. Restaurants are okay, but can only seat at half capacity. Movie theaters are okay, but can only sell half capacity tickets. That just went out today. So we don't have a curfew yet. I know like Hoboken has a curfew. There's a few other places, Hoboken, New Jersey, a few other places that have curfews from like 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. There's no one supposed to be on the streets. We haven't gone that far, but yeah, we there was a call to shut down bars and wineries and brew pubs.
Wow, really?
So,
Wow.
yeah, I think coffee. I'm not sure about coffee shops though.
Well, they're more densely crowded than most restaurants, though.
Yeah, I know. That's why
true.
it's weird that they shut down bars but not coffee stores. But I don't think I heard about the coffee places. But I know like Illinois and Ohio are they're called to shut down bars, wineries, brew pubs, and restaurants.
Well, Drew,
except for-
can you speak? Drew can speak on that, actually. Drew?
All right, so most of you guys that know me, you guys know I'm from Ohio. I live up near the Cleveland area, and our governor has been really, really trying hardcore to get out in front of everything. So, pretty much they canceled the MAC tournament sporting wise. They canceled any March Madness games that were going to be up here. They've canceled pretty much every single like concert event, everything like that. And now, as of today, they have also gone and he put the pretty much the kibosh on any of the bars and restaurants staying open past 9 p.m. Now they are allowing carry-out service, but they will be closed as of 9 o'clock. And that is indefinitely, apparently, now going forward. So apparently everybody's hours are going to be till 9 p.m. if they're a bar or a restaurant. And I believe what he said the other day was there's no gatherings over 100 people. But now, obviously, that has changed nationally because I'm going to pull this up for you, Scott. I'm going to go ahead and share this.
Yeah, please do.
This was as of about 32 minutes ago, and let me make sure I don't fat finger this here. Okay. So this is a status on Twitter from the CDC itself. Breaking news, the CDC recommends that gatherings of 50 people or more in the U.S. be canceled or postponed for the next 8 weeks because of coronavirus. Now,
8 weeks, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Now, that's recommended. They're not forcing it. It's not martial law, but, I mean, that's still saying something. Like a recommendation like that.
But reading between the lines, guys, I'm pretty sure that the states are going to follow suit, and that's what.
Right. Well, I think I think everyone's so afraid of blowback too. In PR, if things break down or if something gets out, that just makes the state seem terrible. Oh, who'd we lose right there? What's up, Christy?
Yeah, I
script
just want to
doctor,
come
what
in.
happened there? All right.
I just want
Well,
to come
talk
in. Hi,
about
guys.
blowback toilet paper. Yeah, you're right. Christy, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to come in and give Tom shit real quick. Not literally, of course.
Is she talking? Because I'm not hearing her yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Christy,
she's
just
She says
Chris-
you smell funny.
Well, you know that's the truth. Christy, just understand I am in a hotel, so it might take a minute before I can hear you. So say whatever rotten thing you want to say about me right now. It's fine.
Patty doesn't know that. No, I'm not going to say that.
Oh, I just heard it though. Yeah. Hello, Christy. Welcome to the party. How are you? Oh, we have a bear nerd fun in the chat. One of my homeboys from the fourth wave. Go on, Christy. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to give Tom shit real quick.
Oh, please do.
No, Tom's good over there just doing that little dig on Friday night because he likes to live stream so damn late. And I was like, well, I'm up. And so we had fun.
I missed that one.
I tend to do that.
Say that again, Tom.
I said I tend to do that.
Well, Christy, I don't think there's any way a person couldn't have fun with you. You're like absolutely a riot.
Yeah.
That stream you did yesterday. Oh my god. So
where just like going through people Walmart.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wait a minute. What happened on that one?
Oh no. Yesterday, Christy has Lorena Crail on, and she had Matt's on there with her.
That's the Queen's Council, right?
Yeah, they were going through people in Walmart.
All right, let's hear it from the voice. Let's hear it, Christy. What happened?
It was all three of us, and Stieg had I sent him a link, and I actually had to change it to the settings to like not for kids.
Oh god!
My niece came in the chat.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh my god, you can't
how old's your niece?
She is young. I did not know she had an Gmail account. I was like, what?
Well, I know my brother was here, and my nephew sent one of his buddies the link, and they're like in the 11, 12-year-old range. So, but guys, this is for people over the age of 16. What is it? 16, is it?
I say 18. It's always safe.
18 and over. But if you're listening, I put out that warning already. So it's your choice. It's your funeral, not mine. So, no, Christy, now you're in Texas. How is it down there right now?
Okay, so and also Tom, I literally broke my ankle falling down going to my car. I mean, I tripped over air.
Well, knock it off.
Were you legitimately in heels though?
No, God, no. I was in flats.
She's blaming it on air.
That's what's worse. I was in flats and like this, I mean, the concrete, there was like no bumps in the parking lot. Or I was like, damn, I have nothing to complain except my two left feet, literally. And I was like, shit. So I get a nice little
You got to blame somebody. This is America.
I blame air and I blame gravity. That's who I blame.
Gravity is a bitch. Oh no,
Gravity is a bitch.
I'm always trying to pull you down.
It really is.
Yeah.
So now that we have everybody up here, and Christy, stay as long as you like. I'm glad you actually
take away if anybody.
Nobody else is here yet. I don't even know who I sent this out to. But let's go with this. I want to know from Tom what right now. Maybe it's probably a better question to ask. What is still being produced right now for movies and shows? Is the Batman on or off?
Well, the movie will still be on. They're just on a 2-week hiatus for now until this blows over.
So maybe that's a better way of saying it. The hiatus. What is not on hiatus that we may be looking forward to?
Pretty much at this point, everything's on hiatus. I'm trying to think of like almost every major production company has shut down all their major productions and or had their cast and crew self-contain themselves or whatever.
I think WandaVision might be the only Disney Plus show that's complete and ready to air almost, and all the other Disney Plus shows are still in the final legs of production, but that's been delayed so far indefinitely.
So
That's the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to ask, is WandaVision, and so that's in like post production, so they could do that from the computer. They don't really need, unless they need people to come in and do the speak over type shit and stuff like that.
Yeah, and ADR stuff, they'll not quarantine for that. It's usually one person in a booth and then another bunch of people in another booth, and you're completely isolated anyway, so it's perfectly fine.
Where are they filming Batman?
In the UK.
Right. And that
they
was
do
the
have
reason
their-
they said, the reason they said they had to go on hiatus was because they were doing actually a different location. And that location, they didn't want to move there right away. I think that's correct. Right, Tom?
That's plausible. I didn't hear that, but that would make sense.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either. I just knew that they were taking 2 weeks off, and I think that's mostly to reorganize their shoot schedule and make sure everything that they can shoot can be done now until whatever they have to shoot later, the coronavirus blows over.
Gotcha. So who's being saved by this right now? So who is using the coronavirus as an excuse to hold up back a production that might not be going the way they want it to?
The only one I can think of offhand necessarily would either be the rumors we're hearing about 007. Otherwise, we did hear a few things about Lord of the Rings having some issues.
Because they got rid of their entire writer staff.
The
just
complete
before this
writer
thing kind
staff.
of blew out. I know the director for Shang-Chi wasn't officially diagnosed, but he put himself in self-isolation, and so that Marvel production is going to be on hold for a while. And he's in Australia right now, and I know half the cast is here in Toronto. And Friday, Toronto just said that they might be closing down a whole lot of their services on Monday, and I don't know what's going on with that there because I work in Toronto. I have to commute into the city, and if there's no means to commute in, I can't go to work. And so I don't know what's going on with that. Luckily, I'm off Monday, but hopefully there's some news about what's going on so that I know what to do Tuesday. And I know a lot of the production trailers and stuff that are usually all over the city when I come in, they weren't there at all this weekend, and they're usually blocking up all the roads. So a lot of stuff is closed down and moved out.
Oh, wow. So this is for my chat. Palanuki, is it Glasgow or is it Liverpool they're more worried about? I'm guessing Liverpool because I haven't heard much about Scotland with this virus. I know the UK has been hit hard, and that's more than just England, but I haven't heard much about the actual like Scottish country and Ireland. So let me know if you know, buddy. So
did they get rid of the whole writing staff? The Lord of the Rings, was that because of virus scares, or was that because
No.
of issues of production
before.
writing?
Probably
Okay.
quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now the production has
Wow.
been shut down, so that's raising some other concerns and issues. It's been a production that's been plagued. What?
You changed your avatar.
Yeah, I did.
I know. I just noticed that. That is fantastic. So, Tom, on the Lord of the Rings, I know they're on like a strict like time limit with the Tolkien estate. Is that going to come into factor?
I don't know how strict it is necessarily. It's kind of, but that is one thing we're hearing is that time is wasting. And since this deal was made clear back in like 2016, the time frame as to when if they do or don't have it into production in time could possibly cause them to lose the license. But with this virus and shit, they may use that as an excuse. And I don't know about the Tolkien. It'll all depend between the Tolkien estate and what Amazon can work out in the end, I guess.
Right. I thought the deal was 5 years. They had to have
Probably, but usually you have to be in production by a certain date, and it has to be out by within that period. So like there's generally stipulations on exact time periods as to what, I'm Script Doctor may know a little bit more about that kind of shit, but yeah, I mean, that's usually my understanding.
Yeah, basically there's a release date that's done in the negotiations for those rights. Now there are insurance applications regarding that. So something like this, like a pandemic, is most likely in one of those because they always go crazy with some of the insurance stuff. So it might buy them some time, but it all depends on who has the authority to end the contract if this thing doesn't pan out within a certain limit. So it might even go to arbitration at one point, where say this virus thing blows over by May, and Lord of the Rings is able to restart production in June or July. The estate may say, well, that's an extra 2 months of unnecessary delay. You should have been ready to go the next day, type of thing. And that'll go
Right.
back and forth between legal counsel, and then either it goes through or it falls apart, and we'll never know until it actually happens. But that's one speculation.
Okay.
Isn't there a daughter still alive though?
Daughter? I know
Like
the son just
Christopher.
Christopher died recently, didn't he?
Okay, so he. I could have. I could have thought a daughter was a daughter.
There's definitely still
Still
family
alive.
members. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
their
definitely.
family
But not-
members still alive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually the
so
estate is ran by like a lawyer or two at the behest of whatever family's left.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Before Christopher got, I mean, I think he was sick for just a little bit before he died, but Christopher had total control over who was running that estate. I mean, he was the anchor in that estate. He was the anchor to make sure that Tolkien did not get used for commercials and things like that. He even wrote a bit. He was, for anybody to take over the legacy of J.R. Tolkien. His son did a fantastic job and should be commended for what he did. Now I'm a little bit worried that the guy who was worried about the legacy is gone. What's going to happen now with this? Because he had strict rules on how they did the production, how they can't touch, certain ages, complete ages. I don't even think they could touch the third age of Middle Earth. Is that
they can't
correct?
touch what's published because those stories are technically Christopher Tolkien's. They were written for him and his siblings. They're his
Correct.
stories from his perspective. So he's very, of course, going to be very protective of them.
So Christy might be right though. There are siblings, and I don't know if he was the oldest, but I know he was the one in charge.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that's what he was just in charge. I thought it was just like with a family type thing. I know a brother or two has already passed away than Christopher, but I could have sworn there was another kid around. But I get what y'all are saying.
I think
now.
he said there.
Like
I want to say there
whoever's
was
in charge.
right. I want to say there was 3 to 4 siblings. I don't know, and I don't know if anybody in the chat knows. Please put that up there. Palanuki wants us to know that they were for the Batman. They were going to Liverpool for the Gotham town hall scenes, so that's what they used for not continuing to film, because they did release like a week ago that nothing was going to stop it, and now, I mean, understandably, this is a contagion that is easily spread, and people really need to not freak out. I mean, wash your hands, do the smart things, but also, I can give it to them to halt production for a while. And Philip Gaming says it's okay. We have Picard series. No need for Lord of the Rings anymore. That is not a L. Right. That is not a LOL.
Series. That's it's the solution.
Let's talk about Picard. I know we have 2 of my favorite people that talk about Picard, and that is Script Doctor and Tom. They have a show on Friday nights, usually on Midnight's Edge, or is that Midnight's Edge After Dark, Tom?
No, it's usually on the main channel.
So on the main channel, it is fantastic. They usually have some more guests. It's Tom and Rob and Mecca usually, and then you have Script Doctor and other guests that come on, and it's fantastic. I yell at my screen. I was driving home this Friday. I just wanted to keep yelling at it because you guys were bringing up such great things about how horrible this show is. So let's talk about the last 2 episodes to get our minds off of the virus.
Yeah. Oh God, that's
Another kind of virus.
It is another type of virus. Can anybody remember what the hell happened in episode 7? Because I'm blanking.
7 was
right
the Riker and Troy episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we find out that they gave up on their son so they could acquiesce to the laws of the state, which is a horrible.
It was
concept.
member berries.
Well, I don't understand. And you guys started to talk about it, and I lost contact with you guys while I was driving. So I don't know if it was finished. What was the disease he had? What was the issue? It was a brain. Was it silicone?
It was a silicone-based sclerosis, and MS as they called it, or MN, I think it was.
Okay, but on a biological life form.
Yes, so there is silicon life forms in Star Trek. The first introduction was the Horta in Enemy in the Dark, the original series. It was a silicon-based life form, so we knew that they could exist. Now, there is a history in our own history that if you had silicone in your body, it would cause deterioration and a lot of other issues.
Like bad
Most
breast
notably,
implant.
bad breast implants. Yes. But you just remove them, and then your body kind of fights off the remains, and you're okay. So I don't even understand what the disease that Thaddeus Riker got in this Star Trek Picard, but apparently it could only have been cured by being cultivated in a positronic matrix, which I doesn't just is doesn't make sense to me at all.
Can you explain why it doesn't make sense? Because I think you hit it best when I heard you talk about it.
Well, positrons are the opposite of electrons, so it's technically antimatter, and if you were to be physical contact with that, you'd die. So I don't. There's that aspect. It just boggles my mind. I mean, the joke I made was Thaddeus in transition, and did he go with like silicone breast implants, and that's how he contracted it or something? Because it just doesn't make sense. Like, how do you catch it? Why do you? Okay, so if you need a positronic matrix, why can't Geordie LaForge build one? He's had enough time with Data; he should know how to rig one up. Or why not go to the planet of Baku, where that entire species, even though they live a very sort of Amish style life, they still have knowledge about positronic matrix, and the rings of their planet heal and regenerate cells. So, and that's also the same planet where Troy and Riker rekindled their love and everything. So it's really, really weird. Like, I just don't get why they would just give up on their kid and agree with the rules or the law of the Federation to not try and do anything. Because I'd rather see a story where Troy and Riker go to Picard and be like, hey, listen, we need your help to get us to Baku. and then they just like escape from Federation space, and maybe there's like a cop or like the Red Santa from Firefly going after them, so they don't go to this planet because it's been considered protected or what have you, but they're going there to get their kid saved. I think that'd be a way more interesting and compelling story than what we're getting now. You could still have your synth revolt crap, but at least you have a far more intimate story where we get to see who Thaddeus Riker is, what's he like as a child or a teenager, how it's affecting the family. Make us feel something about their life being at risk, as opposed to killing them off screen and having us go, well, I guess that death doesn't really impact me because I never knew who he is, what he is, how he acts. Just he likes to write fantasy novels and languages. Like, that doesn't tell me anything about him.
Yeah, I don't know. Supreme Heretic, Drew, what do you think about? Have you been watching this show?
Yeah, I've been watching it from the first episode all the way through so far, and I can tell you, trust me, I got the highest compliment. I put a little critique on Twitter, I think late last night, and I got the highest compliment from some triggered people that said, I was gatekeeping, and I support toxic masculinity, which was great in itself. But besides that, like the show to me, it just jumps around so much. And, every Thursday with when SD comes on and we're and Steven, and we're doing the Battlestar Galactica review, it's just such a stark contrast because you can see the difference between good writing. There's a discernible A plot, B plot, even C plot in something like Galactica, and you can see that in all the really good shows that we have like now. Like, take for example the Orville and the Expanse. But you go to Picard, and it's like they try to have an A plot that's really choppy, and then the B plot got thrown out the window as soon as they killed off Maddox, because you don't know what's going on there. So that's jumping around, and then there is no C plot. So it's paper thin what they have. And like I said, when you break down the show, it doesn't have anything really to keep the viewer invested. And the characters, are just not likable, and
Right.
we have the recurring theme all the time of you know, you would think that John Luke would command respect. I mean, you know, he's a legendary figure. Well, you know, here he's just a broken down old man that gets like bitched out by all the women all the time. And he's just like, you know, he just always cowers down and he's quiet. There's no like, you know, he has no cojones, man. You know, and it's sad because there's really no other characters to latch onto. I mean, Jerry Ryan's doing okay in this show, to be fair. Some of the stuff that she's done at Seven has been all right, but even with her character, it's inconsistent, and there's nothing really for the viewer that it at least has come from watching Trek before to really kind of latch onto. There's nothing that feels really like Star Trek with this, and it's a crying shame because, you know, people wanted something Star Trek, especially after the hot mess that Discovery was. So, you know, I haven't found anything redeeming through all 8 episodes. I mean, there's been some moments, but they're actually few and far between.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Christy, I'm gonna back you out for a little bit, and I'm gonna let Comics jump on for a sec.
No. Go ahead, because I'm about to go out with family tonight. I just wanted to come on and just say hi
Well,
guys.
now
real
I
quick.
don't want you to
Congrats.
leave.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
But congrats again on the 500.
Oh, thank you.
subs
done,
and
Christy.
yeah,
almost
absolutely.
Let's not
close-
talk about me,
almost
though.
close to 600.
You,
Yeah.
where are you at, and where can people find you? And please drop your own link in the comment section.
Everybody who is in this chat knows we hang around the same people. I mean, it's go support the
You never know.
Fandom
You never know who's
Collective.
going to listen. You know, afterwards.
Yeah, right. I got
Might
some
not know
family
you.
in here. You know, I'm paying people also, Christy. So
Okay, I will put my link in the chat.
Yeah.
I'll
Thank
I'll put the link in the chat. But bye, guys.
thank you,
Take
Christy.
care,
Have a great
Christy.
night.
All right,
Talk
Be
to you
safe.
soon.
You too, guys. Bye.
Be safe. All right. And in a couple minutes, actually, final, I'm going to have you back out, but stay backstage because we're going to have the historian on of the Fandom Menace to show off a little bit of his book.
Oh, very cool.
Right.
He just needs he wants 5 minutes. I told him I guess I can give it to him.
He can take
Comics,
as long
what's
as
up?
he wants.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good,
Hey.
man. Really glad to have you on, buddy. I always enjoy talking to you about crappy TV like Picard.
Oh, Picard indeed is a fucking train wreck.
It is, man. It really is. What have you now? We're talking about first episode 7. What did you get from that episode? Now I want to point out a couple things real quick. So they jumped through that. What did they call it in the cube?
Spatial trajector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that thing.
the workaround, the way to get around using, warp
Stargate.
speed. Yeah, it's
Right.
a Stargate. It's a fucking Stargate. Exactly.
It truly is. And this Stargate, did they know they were precisely sending themselves like within, 100 yards of that house?
No, have you
Yes,
ever
so.
seen Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes.
Yes.
You know the song "Dream It, Be It."
Yes.
You just think about where you want to go, and there you are.
that's a really good way of explaining how they got there. It's the I don't know, because plot said so device.
Yeah,
Oh,
because the
God,
script
yeah.
said so.
Plot
Exactly.
convenience
Is,
device.
is it? Would you consider like the equivalent of the Star Wars light speed skipping that they
Yeah.
try to introduce?
Oh Christ.
Kind of like that. By the luck of
what?
it, you just happen to
No,
end up
light
at the
speed
right
skipping
place.
is just a fucking JJ-ism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you know anything about light speed and the whole thing with the mass shadow in Star Wars, the whole light speed skipping doesn't make sense, and neither does the Holdo maneuver, because
Yeah.
the whole point of the navigation computer is to prevent you from going through something, and as soon as it detects a mass shadow, it will drop you from hyperspace. That's
Right.
just the way the
Yeah,
ships are
you'd have to
designed.
remove the entire nav computer from your thing in order to do it.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's possible because it's integrated into the hyperdrive.
Yeah, exactly. So it's what she did was completely impossible. The light speed skipping, as much as I think that's kind of a cool idea, it's not probable in Star Wars. And this whole thing, it's a way to get Picard off the cube in over to Riker. It's plot convenience at this point. It makes no sense. I guess it's kind of evident that this was something that was introduced later during the rewrites.
Yeah, there's an obvious reshoot element because you could literally skip that episode and have Picard and Soji beam from the cube to the ship and lose nothing.
You are absolutely correct. But the point of the episode is so Troy can lecture Picard on how much of an asshole he is. It's the this entire show is the white man apology tour.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean he was told to shut the F up.
He was told
are you
kidding me? It's the men are bad tour too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. It's the white man apology tour.
Yeah, it was the episode designed to reset Picard and get him back to character, and they don't do it well. The only thing that they do well is they have a proper cause and effect. Picard acts like a complete dick to Soji in the garden, and Troy's like, "What the hell is this?" A completely justified approach, but the fact is it's a cliche thing because every episode someone's bitching at Picard, but he hasn't done anything to deserve it yet. Now he finally does deserve it, and you're like, it just doesn't have any impact. It just
not only that, it's completely out of his character.
It's out of his character. Exactly. It's like Troy.
No, I'm sorry, Script. I'm getting like a little pause, so I apologize for that. No, but Troy, like for him to yell at Soji, like wouldn't he be the first one next to Troy to be like, we need to, Tom, you got to do the voice, but we need to treat her with kid gloves, like.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I said right away. I'm like, he is in this scene, which should have played out like this. Soji spills her beans. Troy understands, realizes she's a android because she can't sense her or whatever, but she knows she believes her emotions or whatever it was she put it. Mm-hmm. And she understands what she's dealing with. Now, Picard is probably the only other person who's even remotely aware of what she's gone through at this point. Yeah. That's the last thing he would do. He would just come up and go, "The pizza's ready." And then as soon as Soji would leave, you would have that Troy and Picard moment where he, like he always did on the show, he'd pull her aside and go, "Well, what do you think?" And get her opinion on the matter.
Yeah. Or he'd at least have some sort of speech about reassuring her that everything is real because not everything that's too good to be true is, but sometimes there is a reality to when people are trying to genuinely help you. And he'd be supportive of her distrust. He wouldn't make fun of her for it. He'd be like, no, it's okay to distrust. Ask questions. Be curious. Figure out who you are so that we can help you better. That's Picard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I expected. And he does the exact opposite. And it's like, why?
It's to make him look like an asshole. That's why. I mean, it several times in the series so far. One with Raffi, and now with Soji.
Right. Do you guys think that that Patrick Stewart is actually happy and proud? Because you see with Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, he was very clear he was not happy with how that went.
Look,
but do you think Patrick Stewart is?
Yes, there are interviews, man. There's interviews.
There's interviews, and I don't know if you were about to talk about it. There's an interview where the writers and producers, I think, or maybe just the writers, are talking about how they went to Patrick Stewart with a story, and he hated it and said he would not come back to Picard, and they rewrote the whole season and then went back to him, and that's what we got. So he agreed to this crap. He wanted this. Mm-hmm. For what reason? I don't know. He didn't like playing Picard anymore. He said he wasn't going to play Picard anymore. And I said to Tom, I sent in the chat on their show that hating this show has made me a fan of Star Trek because I've been watching old ones to get perspective.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to get perspective.
So he was in essence, he's the KK of Star Trek, where he was intentionally trying to deconstruct the character of Picard.
Oh, absolutely.
The KK was trying to deconstruct the character of Luke.
Well, here's the thing, Final. He was notorious for Patrick Stewart's a huge leftist, and he wanted anti-Brexit, anti-Trump. That's what he wanted.
That's exactly it.
He went on record and said as much, and he's been like, oh God, when they did the the press junkets for this show. He's come out and he's all smiles and he loves it because it's making the kinds of statements that he wants, And it's like,
Yeah, I mean, it's clear the analogies in the show to America with how Starfleet Command acted and how
Yes,
wrong they were. I
exactly.
mean, you can make those parallels very easily.
Well, the results of the analogies are there. The analogies itself are paper thin. It's just
Right.
pathetically done. But like they're definitely trying to do. I mean, there's an allegory to the old against stem cell research aspect with regards to the synths. Then there's the terrorist attack, and then the closing of borders. Then you have what's in episode 8, where you have a secret cabal that has evidence to support why they're doing what they're doing, even though the ends don't justify the means. And instead of sharing that with the galaxy to try and figure out a way around it, they keep it secret and just start killing people indiscriminately who might be on the verge of discovering or breaking the AI barrier.
And what annoys the crap out of me is the fact that we had 7 seasons plus movies of Star Trek with Data, and we even have an episode with a Romulan trader and he has this conversation with Data saying, the Romulan cyberneticists would love to get their hands on you. There is a pattern that they've never been anti-cybernetics, anti-AI, anti-synthetics, or androids.
Yes.
But this is the direction they're taking with this fucking show.
And here's the other
because
crazy
these women are
part.
supposed to be the ones that found this secret
Yes.
knowledge out,
Okay.
right? I mean, they didn't know that ahead
I'm
of
going to
time.
build
This
off
is all
that
supposed to be
women's state. I'm going to build off that women's state final because because there is a joke in there about I don't know if you've dealt it with your wives or your girlfriends or your mothers, but you piss them off and they say, well, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. That's exactly what the Jatbash are doing with this knowledge of this destroyer.
Right. Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
But also this Jatbot or whatever they are, they've known this now. This has been going on for quite a few years, generations even.
Thousands, they said. This has been going on for
Thousands.
thousands of years.
So they're not even telling their
I think it was
own
thousands
people?
of generations, they said.
I didn't say 1,000 was it 1,000 generations?
I think it was
1,000 generations ago, the tragedy happened.
Yeah, thousands
Over
generations
thousands
ago.
of years, the Jatbash have existed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
And-
want to say that what's her name said that the Jatvash has existed for thousands of years, which would
Yes.
predate
Right.
the
Predate the
them leaving
Romulan
Vulcan.
and Vulcan separation.
Yeah.
Which is
Right.
ridiculous in its own right. But let me put this on there too. Okay, so you take a character, I call her Cersei Romulan, who wants to have sex with her brother and enjoys killing people and puts her gun away and fights the elf with hand-to-hand combat and loves killing people. And then you give me in episode 8 the reason why she wants to find Soji, the reason why she wants to stop this Sith. Sith. What kills me is this. You could have had a character that started off acting the way she did in the first couple episodes, and then we learn that she actually doesn't enjoy doing what she's doing.
Yes.
It covers what her real purpose is. But no, they drop the ball on that, and they just say she loves killing people, but she has a reason.
Okay, so Scott, that's a good point. So let me ask you guys all this. I want to hear all your opinions on this. From what I get with this show, they try to make Picard look weak. They try to make the women look like the ones who are in charge. Yet, really, I think they end up making all the women in the show look very bad. Like not the good people you're rooting for. Look at each of the women in the show. They're either cruel, they're either double crossers, they're villains, or they're just straight up like rude and annoying. And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
They haven't really elevated the women to.
But that's the way they view men, is that
Yeah.
all men are assholes, and therefore they're going to have them act like men.
Right. So
This is how they view men, and therefore they're having their characters act like them.
So it's just a complete, like a literal gender swap.
It is
Well-
the same way that they believe that they think that women are weak, and therefore they're gonna put that on the men instead. So the men act weak and cowardly. They act like quote unquote women.
Yeah,
Even though that's not how
just so-
that's not how women act.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
we
And it's
stand
not
for that
even equal opportunity or, showing them as equals. It's just flipping it around because you don't watch this show and think like, oh, wow, women are. I mean, I get with Rey, obviously they were just trying to make her look super powered, but she was still friendly and kind. She wasn't just a rude or evil
Fine,
person.
that's
I think
valid.
she kind of came off as a bit of a bitch at times.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
she
definitely.
did.
But I think overall that was not her character. I mean,
I don't know, man. Ray, I think Ray it's nowhere to the levels that's in Picard, but
No.
she always kind of came off as this annoying character to me.
Well,
No.
annoying, yes, but not like evil or just.
Not
Evil,
evil.
condescending.
Yeah.
I mean, she was annoying in her own ways, but not for the reasons that like the Picard
No, you're right.
women
You're
are.
right. Final, you're right. Supreme, what do you think?
All right, well, like I look at it like this because you take, for example, again, we talk about 7 of 9. All right, so you have the episode where 7 of 9 first comes in, makes her first appearance in the show, and automatically it starts off with she kills somebody that she supposedly loves because so she's doing a
Euthanizing.
right off the bat, and then she proceeds to go through this episode, just fine with murdering, dozens of people. I mean, she goes literally. So like what I like to call the 7 of 9 turns into Jason Voorhees episode because she leaves behind a trail, arguably just about as prolific as Jason.
That's a lot of
more like a
bodies,
death
yeah.
wish. I think it's more like a death wish. Bronson and Death Wish.
I would agree with that. That's kind of how it comes.
Yeah,
off
but I mean, it completely took her out of character from what we know her because when we last left 7, she had regained a lot of humanity. She had like a really satisfying journey during the 7 seasons of Voyager, and I thought, okay, that's good. Well, then they bring her into this and they make her just like this bloodthirsty killing machine, and then if you go into it later, then all of a sudden, this latest episode, she just, which by the way, again, poor writing. When she goes onto the Borg cube, you don't see her beam on board or anything like that. She just appears. By the way,
yes, she does.
which is stupid as hell because I mean, they can see people coming onto the Borg cube from a mile away because the Romulans have it under surveillance. They're monitoring beam-ins, the whole 9 yards, but they don't detect her. It's like, are you kidding me?
She's a Fenris Ranger.
It's because plot. That's the reason why.
And it's just goofy. Now, I did like in the latest episode where they kind of alluded to played around with the idea of her becoming like a new Borg queen or being a possible fill-in for a Borg queen, and that would be cool if they would explore that. Then I could accept the fact that 7 of 9 had a heel turn and she's kind of like reverted towards being Borg anyway, and I could accept that. But it's just there's no rhyme or reason with this writing. And it's like I said, none of the female characters are likable. None of the male characters are really likable.
No, they're not.
I mean, even if you remotely like Rios, for example, the guy in episode 8 is completely cucked. The first thing that he does, he sees Soji, on board his ship. He goes and runs away, locks himself in his quarters, and he's like having a nervous breakdown. It's like, dude, you're the captain of the freaking ship.
Well, that's another thing that got me. Okay, so we have the next episode 8. Now they end up on the ship, and you see Rios or whatever the hell his name is, standing there looking at Soji, and you, as the audience, can tell, holy crap, he knows her in a way. Something about her reminds him about something very strongly. But yet, the only person who doesn't get that is Picard.
Yeah.
Now,
the funny thing too is that out of I think all the actors, it's like the guy that plays Chris Rios is the only one who is not truly phoning it in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's actually bringing his A game for this shitty show.
And on top of that, what are the
different versions
odds?
of himself.
What the hell are the odds that the captain of that ship met the other Soji android?
Oh, I know. It's
That's
like
what I was saying. It's like a
0.001.
billion, gazillion, Google.
Like a trillion to one, literally.
Well,
Yeah,
Tom, what do you think about? Because Final makes a very valid point that I've thought about, but I've never actually brought to a conversation. We have these women that are all of them in this show have done so, even like the sweet doctor that you think is going to be like
Girardi.
Agnes is going to
yeah.
be like the sweet like bubbly one is a freaking murdering spy,
If a clown walked in my house right now and gave birth to a monkey, it would make more sense in this fucking show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that makes
You'd
no
be less
sense.
upset.
Right I mean
More intriguing.
what
Yeah.
bothers me
Domestic
about what's her name, Agnes is
Agnes.
at the end of that episode, all she had to do was, I'm not going to kill anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just accept her
Yeah,
back.
I got over my killing, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Oh, great. Welcome back.
It only took me to vomit twice and foam at the mouth, and all of a sudden the killing's out of me.
Yeah.
That's not abnormal for
I
these
know.
kind
They're
of
not
shows.
quarantining her off. It's just, welcome back.
That was a very kind of CW move, in my opinion.
Yes.
Oh, exactly.
Something you would
What
see
really
on
kind of
Arrow.
pisses me off is that, if you go back and rewatch TNG, I mean, they did diversity way better than what we're seeing in Picard. They had, a lot of females in positions of power. It was very egalitarian. And that was the thing that made that show fantastic. And it never felt forced. It was very natural, and everything made sense. Where here, it's like, have we met a admiral that is not female in Picard yet?
We only met one male Starfleet officer, and he didn't know Picard's name.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, he was an officer? I didn't even realize he was an officer.
He shouldn't have been, because what type of use of an officer is there to put him at a reception?
Yeah, he was a
Yes.
receptionist. I didn't even realize he was
He's
an
wearing
officer.
a Starfleet uniform.
Oh my
That's so
God.
weird.
Well, again, you go with the fact that all you need is coherent character development, and Comics Division made a great point, because in previous shows, it doesn't matter what the franchise is, you've seen it over and over. At least the old formula that used to work was, hey, look, organic diversity, any gender can be a good character, and they used to know how to do it well. Now everything is ham-fisted and shoehorned in, and it's crazy.
Well,
And it takes away, actually, it winds up being a detriment instead of the character coming across as believable.
Well, the problem with this show too is that they're trying so hard to write about what they feel like is going on in our society instead of using it as the whole plot. Now, my question is this, because again, I'm more of a casual fan. What do you have when you have what was the last time Picard was actually an officer in one of the movies or something? How many years was it before this? 14 years ago when the Mars happened? Like, how long ago was it prior to that? Because in that
It'll be about
time,
5 years.
that's it, right? So in 5 years, this whole Federation went from exploring and helping other cultures and learning and giving up on war and all this stuff to becoming the so-called Orange Man is bad now type of Federation.
Yeah. Well, what I'll tell you this is, we would never have any of these problems if there was a white male CNC at Starfleet Command.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, I think is really hilarious is that, like, with Admiral O, it's like you have this Asian-looking Vulcan with an Asian-sounding name and not a Vulcan-sounding name.
Oh,
yeah,
wow, that's
names
valid.
start with a like an S, end with a K, or a T, end with an L for females. It's like there's a structure to it.
Yeah.
And then you have Commodore
They
O,
don't
as
care.
in, oh, I forgot her name.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
good
they
God.
probably don't have any source material to pull from. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
probably
they don't have any at all.
they don't have
Well,
it.
Memory Alpha has been corrupted with Star Trek
None.
Discovery and Kelvin timeline crap. So
That means you gotta
man.
type on something other than fucking Twitter, Bill.
Yeah. It's just, oh God,
I can't bring myself to do so much fucking work. Fucking Star Trek is hard.
It is hard, man.
I mean,
difficult.
this is just god awful to watch, and I've watched it all the way through.
Oh, I can't look away though.
Yeah, I mean it's like a train wreck, but I mean I've watched it all the way through because obviously I want to know what's going on, and in case there's something relevant that I write a story on for Bounding, whatever. But the thing is also as a Star Trek fan, I still want to see it, and it's just so disappointing.
It so is,
You're
man.
just a fucking istophobe. Shut up.
I'm really honestly waiting with bated breath to see if the spoilers are all true. Like with Girardi being trans, and then
Right,
the
what are
whole
we
thing with
missing?
Rios being dead at the end.
Yeah, like how is Girardi being trans going to really affect the plot? Like I don't get that.
It doesn't.
Wait a minute, Gerard. Someone's got to give me because I didn't hear any of these yet. What? Okay, wait a minute.
What is this?
Okay, some of them is that Crusher has died off screen, and Girardi is trans, and Chris Rios turns out to be a hologram at the end, or dies at the end at the end of the series or the season, whatever.
So all of them are holograms, including the one that's having like emotional reactions and shit.
Well, apparently he's. I don't know. It's like if you read the Bounding into Comics article that covered it, there was like a leak script,
Right.
and it talked. It was Girardi talking to Rios, and he does his override, and it turns out he was a hologram, and he shuts himself off. And it's like that's really fucking stupid because how was he going to turn himself back on?
Right,
Yeah. And how did he aim board a planet free cloud?
Yeah,
let me.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, let me say one thing. They kind of set it up in this last episode, though.
Yeah, they kind of did.
Yeah.
They were talking about how he downloaded all his knowledge and his memories and everything, but he blocked some of them. So maybe the one is, like that makes.
Oh no, it's he didn't download the memories. He copied the logs from Starfleet over, and then he had a self scan on his for the holograms. Then he just started deleting stuff from his logs so that they wouldn't bring it up to give him nightmares or some crap. That's what was being insinuated with this episode, but it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And they're really trying hard with the hospitality program to have them lean in into other and invade other characters' space for a comic effect, but it's just not landing at all.
Oh God, no.
You can tell on set they're laughing at it, but it's not coming across through the screen.
You're so fucking toxic. Why you gotta hate my show?
Well, we got Palanuki who says they're doing that with all the male heroes of our beloved franchises. You'll see Indiana will be taught by a young woman that now archaeology is female, which he is right.
Archaeology is female.
Right.
Yeah,
And then you got Philip Gaming says she's a transformer.
Well, I hope that it's going to be funny. Like what Script Doctor said, I don't understand like what her being trans would bring to anything. I mean,
it's just a virtue signal, is all.
I think
all of a sudden, some glow is going to come over her, and she'd be like, "By the power of penis,"
Which one's Gerard? Is that Agnes?
That's
Agnes is Girardi, and if she's revealed to be trans, then you're just supporting that women aren't natural in the STEM fields.
Right, right. That's what made her so smart.
That's funny.
Plus, isn't that insulting, to like the trans people because they're not using a real trans actress?
And when she, well, yes, you're absolutely right. And when she OD'd on that stuff, wouldn't you think the hologram would be like, wait a minute, she has a penis, like something like that, just to give us a hint.
Oh no!
Well,
in the 24th
it's-
century, they can do that on a cellular level, I guess.
Yeah. It's they can insert a baboon's womb at that point. Who fucking cares?
right?
To quote Venture Brothers in a very poor fashion.
That is awesome.
But that's a great.
Yeah, exactly.
That is awesome. So, where do you think? How many episodes we have left? Two.
Two more.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many.
Now, I think. Well, Tom, you guys talked about it, didn't they? Didn't they film enough for like 13 episodes? So why are we getting this crap?
There's a bunch of bullshit. Like, I swear they tried to do everything they could to avoid reporting that it was actually delayed, that they actually had to go back and do reshoots, because then, us and Nerdrotic and Gary and all them be right. We couldn't have that. Or Doomcock, not, I said Gary and Nerdrotic, but yeah, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would never, do that. But when they had an interview recently, they said they got to episode 7 and nothing made sense. So they had to readjust everything or something like that. Anything to not say reshoot. And then, there was another interview earlier than that where they said, oh yeah, we had shot enough stuff for 13 episodes, so we had to pare it down to 10. But we made it work, or something like that.
They did not make it work.
They did not make it
No,
work.
not in the
That's damn
least.
fair. Yeah. I mean, I hope it ends with Q doing this to Picard just to torment him. But that's just me.
We can all hope that, but that's not what's going to happen.
I know.
We can make a fan edit for that, but like, yeah.
Exactly.
So someone explain to me when was the switch in? Is it visible the actual episode? Was it episode 7 or 8 where we switched the actual showrunner? Like, do we see the change in the focus of the episodes or the writing? Have you noticed that script?
No,
out there
I
at all?
haven't noticed it.
No, I think when Shaban came on, they retroactively went back and messed with some shit because I think his name is on it since like what, second episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is
it's
on almost
been on for a
every
while.
episode. Well, his name's on it for the creator for every episode. He did, I think, episode 3, 5, and 7. 7 was the only one he did by him. No, 8 is the only one he did by himself. 3 and 5 he did with a partner. I'm starting to think that Shaban has a really good editor and manager for his books because the stuff on those episodes is very much more him, and it's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's clearly not given enough time to rework the story ideas. He says stupid lines. Like in episode 8, there's like Soji says, "How do I know this thing about the unknown planet that I'm from?" And Chris Rio says, "The same way I know you like peppermint and French fries." Those lines don't correlate. Like there's no way it works. Like the dumbest exchange ever. The other one being like, what do you call, like, what do they do with the conspiracy? They cover it up and makes the same fucking thing. Then he has the another one in episode 5 that's eluding me right now because it's also released. Oh, Data in the DNA. That's his too.
Right, DNA.
Like there's no DNA with an artificial
No, not at all. So I have a question for you guys. What do you think Gene Roddenberry's reaction to this show would be?
He's rolling over.
He's trying to come
rolling.
down from space and reanimate himself to throttle these people. Because his ashes are floating in space somewhere. So.
Before anybody answers that again, hold on to that thought, guys. I just want to shout out. We have Nerd Cookies in the chat. Nerd Cookies is a great channel. I don't know how she has less subs than me. She should be in the thousands by now. She does awesome stuff on Dune, character breakdowns, like trying to get people ready for the movies by talking about what the book character is like. Really, really good stuff. So please, if you have not checked out Nerd Cookies, please subscribe to her channel.
And I will. Christ.
Okay, well, get on it, Tom.
I just did.
All right. See, I got you on Nerd Cookies.
I just did too.
There you go.
Working on it
I
now.
thought I was subscribing. I'm not, so I am now.
Good stuff. Now, so let's answer that question, please. Who wants to take a crack at that question the comics
He
just
says,
asked?
"Fuck you, Yankee Mama. I'm never coming back. This is why aliens won't fucking come visit us. Y'all are on crack."
The response.
Wait a minute. Who was that?
That was just what he said.
Gene Roddenberry's
Gene
response.
Roddenberry. That's his response. Okay, I got lost there for a second. Now, Gene Roddenberry. I mean, he fought a lot during filming. Like, he never wanted the two generations to mix in a movie, didn't he? Like, he stopped that from happening prior to.
Well, he got pushed out in like second season TNG, I think.
I thought
during the writer's strike.
he died. Was
Died during the
reason why-
third season.
Oh, was it third
Like,
season? Okay. I
Yeah,
thought-
he died after. The Spock and so the Spock episode in TNG, the two-parter there, that was dedicated to Gene Roddenberry because he died around just after that was produced, but before it was released.
Well, when was the first TNG movie? Was that during one of when he
that
was
was
still
Generations.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Generations
Yeah,
was
that's
after the
Generations.
series.
That was way after. Yeah.
Oh, because someone told me that they were
not way
pushing to
after,
have. I just heard this today when I was listening to somebody's channel, and they were talking about how Gene Roddenberry, people were pushing. Maybe it was pre him passing. Well, it had to be. They wanted to have Kirk and Picard meet in a movie, and he kept fighting it, and maybe that's what happened. He died. Okay, that explains a lot now.
What they met in which they did meet in. Which one
They
was
met
it?
after he died. I never heard
Yeah.
the story of Gene wanting to fight against that. I knew that he
Okay.
wanted to keep the Next Generation its own thing. He wrote in the scene with McCoy on the Enterprise and the pilot being escorted
Yes.
out by Data.
Mhm.
DC Fontana rewrote that so it didn't sound crappy. Gene came up with the idea. He's like the architect, but it was really Gene L. Kuhn and DC Fontana that shaped Star Trek to what it is that we recognize. There are a lot of things that, I mean, the biggest frustration for Star Trek: The Next Generation, especially, was that the writers couldn't quite understand that Gene didn't want conflict between the characters, but what he was really trying to say is he didn't want petty conflict.
You didn't want drama, petty drama.
Yeah, petty drama, like, superfluous stuff. He wanted it to be point of view issues.
Like what we're getting now.
Yes. Yes, a lot like what we're getting now. Because in the original series, like, Spock's the logical one. He takes the emotion out of it. McCoy has some passion, but they're both on the same moral compass, so to speak. And then Kirk's in the middle. Joked about in his own pilot that he was like a walking library. So we know he's intelligent, but he's kind of like caught between the middle of emotion and logic and balancing out that. And he has his own moral code. And it's the conflict of how they approach their problems that creates the drama for the show, as opposed to I'm right, you're an ist, you're a phobe.
Right.
You shouldn't be a captain because you're only 35 and I'm 45, that type of thing. And in the last episode of the original series, they explore how that conflict works, where you have this woman who was denied being a captain in Starfleet for some reason, and she takes over Kirk's body in a ridiculous thing, and you see that it wasn't about her being a woman, it was just about she was unfit for command.
Right.
Really?
That's the last episode of the original series. It's a pretty decent one for the third season. There's not many good ones in the third series comparatively.
Okay,
Now,
so Next Gen ran
wasn't,
from 1987 to 1994, and Generations came out in 94 as well. So not long after the show canceled, or I didn't say canceled, ended.
Yep.
Wasn't Spock supposed to show up on Next Generation? I think we were talking about it on the Fourth
Yeah,
Wave
he
on
did.
Saturday.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
And
He
the
did.
two-parter,
And
yeah.
reunification, part 1 and 2.
Reunification.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
just
I
after they
love you
introduced
guys.
Sarah.
You guys
Yeah,
know so much
actually-
crap about.
I know.
McCoy was on the first episode, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in Counter Part 1.
McCoy, Scotty, Sarek, and Spock
Yeah.
are the original series actors that appeared on Next Gen. I think that's all of them
Yep.
On the TV shows, yeah.
on the
and then
TV
in,
show. Yeah,
And then in the Generations movie, you had
you had Chekhov, Scotty,
Chekhov,
again, and
Scotty
Scotty,
was it, yeah.
and Willie.
Well, I'll tell you one guy who knows way more than I do about this.
Nice walking
author-
on that. That was
Author
good.
Stephen Walton. If he were only here, I'm sure he would fill in with a bunch of information. In
Final, that
fact,
was impressive. Yeah, let's we're gonna boot Final and add a Trekkie.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man, how's it going?
What's that a boot?
I have been working furiously for the last 2 days, my brothers, on something that I wanted to have out in January, but due to unforeseen circumstances, I had to work a little longer on the book that I wanted to come out a few months ago, and I've been talking with a printer, getting everything ready. My cover artist, Nick Nugent, the KnightRiderCompanion.com. Check him out. He's also got some Fandom Menace shirts out there. Who is my designer for my cover, spine, and back cover. We've been working with our printer to get things right, and I have finally got the print-ready PDF prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Fandom Menace Volume 1. You put that up there for me? Thank
You didn't have to
Oh,
say
nice.
it, man. I had you all set up.
So, yeah,
Wow.
finally. Now, there's a lot of information in this book, and it's just a preface to the Fandom Menace. How we came to be. The next book is going to have a lot of personalities in it when the Fandom Menace started, but this is basically where we began. And I figured a good place to start would be a foreword by Anthony Ergo, Ruin the Man Baby. He was also an author. He does a dystopian series. Check him out on Amazon Books. And I figured we started Gamergate, go over Ghostbusters, talk about some of the voices that were speaking up around late 2017, early 2018. I did a little bit on Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill's killing me because he's acting reckless at the mouth all the time on Twitter. But I wanted to speak about Mark and speak about how he doesn't mix his politics with his art. When he was playing Luke Skywalker, he went there to play Luke Skywalker. He got screwed. You know,
he really did.
You know, so I wanted to give a little piece about Mark. The Last Jedi, The Final Straw, that's the meat of the book. That's going to be a lot of the pointing out what went wrong, why we believed it went wrong, and the ideology of the people in charge at Disney Lucasfilm. Then I have a chapter on Comicsgate, because I believe that Comicsgate, the DNA from Comicsgate, really is a part of the Fandom Menace.
Definitely.
It was imparted to us by, Richard Meyer, Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan was part of the High Council, and so a lot of the rebellious, not taking any shit attitude that the Fandom Menace has comes from Comicsgate. So I wanted to mention that. And then I have a chapter in here about Hambly versus Lauder. When Jeremy Hambly was attacked by Matt Lauder, the guy with the punch of Nazi shirt.
Oh, yeah. I did a video about that.
Yeah. And that lawsuit ended, and originally when I first wrote the chapter, it didn't end. But I got a lot of quotes from Jeremy's videos in there that he's taken down. That was kind of a part of the agreement that they had. He'd take down any reference to what had happened. So there's a lot of gems in that chapter that you're not going to find anywhere. I still cite where they came from, but that's what it is. So here it is. I figured the first book, it would only be right to dedicate it to George Walton Lucas Jr. And the traditional Star Wars fandom, because really it was the Star Wars fandom that kind of coalesced into this thing, along with Doctor Who and Star Trek and many other fandoms. So yeah, it's finally done, guys. I'm sorry it took so long. I apologize.
Do not wait a minute. No. If anybody has an issue, yes, you gave yourself a time period where you wanted to have it out. We all knew you were trying to have it out at that time. People need to understand there was a lot that went along with this. People know the history. You have done above and beyond to get this thing out. I have seen you in the background offline talking on the phone, how hard you have been working to get volume 1 out there while still working on volume 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if anybody has an issue with that, you know what you can do? Shut it. The man is working his ass off, and you will get your book. And I can't wait to see what you write to me in my special signed copy.
Well, I appreciate that attitude, Scott. But in the end, a lot of the values that I have taken when pursuing this venture have come from Comicsgate, from people in the independent comics community, and that is customer first. So I do have a responsibility to my customers to get them the product that they paid for, that they backed, to do it in a timely manner and with the best quality that I can give. It's just that in this instance, the quality that my backers deserved, I had to take more time in order to assure that they were going to get that quality.
It looks amazing.
It looks good, Steven. The first time's always the hardest, man, and now it's just smooth sailing ahead for you, buddy. And we're all in your corner.
Would you like to read any or give us a little something?
Find something that says Midnight's Edge.
Screw that, man. And replace Midnight's Edge with just Andre.
Since we were just talking about Star Trek, why don't I just I'll just read the beginning of this one here. How about that? Okay. Chapter 3, The Rebellion Begins. By the time of January 2018 rolled around, there have been many parts of the entertainment industry that have become infected with social justice politics. For my part, as a lifelong Star Trek and Star Wars fan, I felt the line must be drawn somewhere. I was confused, angry, insulted, and betrayed. Both of these properties had always been based on hope. This far, no further, I thought. I knew no real places or spaces where I could go and vent my frustration. I wasn't aware of any community aspects other than cons and cosplay clubs. The media seemed to all be repeating the same mantras. If you didn't like these changes, it's because there is something wrong with you, not the Marxist bullies in creative control. I remember the moment I was looking on YouTube for something to watch. I generally use that platform to seek out science, history, or music videos. Like me, many others had apparently made it a point to try and ignore the rhetoric. But after the dumpster fire of The Last Jedi and CBS's Star Trek Discovery showed the complete disregard and even contempt some of the production studios have for their own customers, they couldn't take it anymore. All over respective fan bases in huge overlapping and creative ways, fans of space-based science fictions were taking notice now and coming together, crafting their voices. In the months leading up to The Last Jedi, my son and I had, of course, been looking up Star Wars fan theory videos along with many others, anticipated the film's release. I had not seen any community Star Wars channels before going to see The Last Jedi on opening night. I did not go looking for Star Trek videos after CBS has already tried to convince me that operatic necro what-the-fuck space orcs were somehow Klingons. I don't remember exactly what I typed into the search bar. I brought up a search on YouTube, so perhaps the video that began with the autoplay. However, it started. The video changed my life. It was a segment from a channel I'd never heard before, Geeks and Gamers. That's the opening to that. In this chapter, I go over G&G. I go over World Class Bullshitters. I go over Ethan Van Sciver and Nerdrotic. And those are the four. The very first volume is more about how this thing came together, what was happening in the background, what was happening in gaming, what was happening in media, what was happening in entertainment before that created this formation, this loose collective of disenfranchised fans from all over entertainment. And so I don't reference all too often certain personalities. I mean, I only chose a few. Volume 2 is going to have a lot. Like I said, Dicker Van Doomcock's going to be in there. Mecharanum 42, The Gospel According to Mark with a C. John Talks is writing the forward. Got Stephanie Janicek, Kiri Howard. I've got a lot of people in 2. And then in Volume 3, I'm going to have Midnight's Edge, Nerdrotic, Odin's Movie Blog. And I think that the Fandom Collective Flipped Out is writing the forward for Volume 3. So things are moving ahead, and I just want to say thank you to all you guys for supporting me through this. I know there was a little bit of doubt out there when it took me longer than expected to produce this work. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I had no doubts either.
Thank you, brother. Well, I mean, I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that stuck with me and stood by me, and it really during the tough times. During those tough times is when you know who your friends are, the ones that reach out and stay with you. And I appreciate all you guys, everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel. Love you, brothers. And that's my pitch.
I kind of have a certain philosophy when it comes to crowdfunding. If I get something back, it makes me happy, but I kind of don't expect it.
Well, that's a way, I respect that because when you are funding the arts, things happen, so, it does sometimes take some time. And this book, look at the quality is fantastic, man.
Yes.
Like I wasn't expecting like clear pictures. I know that might sound dumb, but you have Twitter posts, you have like really cool things going into this, and that takes time. And you're absolutely right, comics. It is one of those things where, you are funding the artist, you are funding, and as an author, you are an artist, you are funding that. And if you get something back, that is a plus.
Man, I say support independent creators. There's a lot of creators out there writing comics, artists, pencilers, colorists, writers, just out there killing it right now, trying to produce something that everyone can appreciate, their passion. And that means a lot to these people. So if you see something that you like and you want to back, support independent creators. There's so many good ones out there right now. And, so that's, I'm a part of the independent community. And so that's what I like to push. And as far as Star Trek sucks. I can't even do my last Picard review because, I don't want to.
Painful.
It's hard, man. It's really hard.
Yeah. I think a lot of people want to.
Well, while you're on this, give us a little. What did you get from that last episode?
The last episode is actually one of the episodes that I actually can enjoy a little bit. I liked the board cube. I don't mind the graphics updates on the cube. I like it. Justice for Hugh. Hugh should not have died. I enjoyed seeing.
I agree.
One of the things I enjoyed. Jerry Ryan and I can't remember her name. Peyton List. Jerry Ryan and Peyton List kept that episode alive. Now, not that I'm enjoying the story, the overall story itself, but in isolation in that episode, I thought Jerry Ryan and Peyton List killed it in that episode. Peyton is one of the new actors that I can appreciate because she acts like a Romulan. Well,
she's doing what I like about her is what they asked of her. She is doing a great job.
Yeah.
I think they're wasting her talents a bit. I really enjoyed 7 of 9, like not wanting to connect to the cube because she was scared that she wouldn't want to give it up.
Right.
I thought that was really cool. And the only other part I really liked of this episode was like the last speech that Picard gave sounded Picard. He talked about hope. He talked about things of that nature. And like, that was the one time in this whole season where I'm like, that's Picard.
Well, the other thing too, when he was talking to the Admiral, Clancy, you start seeing him act like Picard, and of course it ends with her saying, "Picard, shut the fuck up."
I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
We got 2 F-bombs in this episode, man.
yeah. I want to
Admiral-
say, is it 2 or was it 3?
I think it's more than that.
we had this episode alone. We had the Admiral, we had Agnes the tranny, and who else would have dropped the F-bomb?
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time Admiral fucking Hubris comes on the screen, I'm like, no, I don't. That's not Star
Well,
Trek.
you know that armada they're
Admiral
sending to Deep
Bitchface.
Space 12 is a trap.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes. God, yes.
There was that one. There was that one scene with Picard and Soji in the mess hall, like early in that episode. That if it wasn't for Data's brain sperm, this entire stupid idea of her being Data's daughter, like you could have accomplished everything they've done without having that a part of this whole story.
Exactly.
Well, there's a lot of things they could have done with that, because we know that there's the episode where Data has a daughter. They could have made Soji look a lot like her, and then the easiest way for them to have a connection with Picard is for him to say, "Lol."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, I'm so and so." It's like, well, why do you look like this person?
Well, and comics, now that they're introducing the idea that there's a whole planet of synthetics, why did they even need to have that story, that part of the story anyway?
Exactly.
Because they're hack writers, man. That's why.
Yeah. You know,
fun fact. Has anyone noticed that Lal's protoform looks a lot like Doomcock's helmet?
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
A little bit. But, you know, Steven, remember the conversation we were having a few days ago, you and I and Script Doctor, and we made the comparison to Picard with, while we were doing our review of The Hand of God. And you know, we all said, I mean, you can sit there and clearly go through and see the A plot, the B plot, the C plot, Galactica. And then we go over and we watch something like this, and there's no discernible plot. Hell, the A plot is choppy at best.
It's like they took a bunch of things and threw it at the wall and said, "Hey, look, guys, it's a story."
Exactly. It's a night and day difference, because we sit there every Thursday and we break down an actual well-written television show. And then you see something like this in contrast, and it's like, what the hell did I just watch?
Right. And what else is there out there right now? I mean, The Expanse is really good.
But they released it all at once. So.
Right. Yeah. They should have done it episodic by week. You know, The Witcher is good, but I feel like I'm giving it more than it deserves because everything else sucks. You know what I mean?
The Witcher is a little above average, I would say.
Yeah, mediocrity looks great compared to the crap we've been seeing.
I think that's the perfect way.
That's the thing that's killing me. But that's spot on, man. Mediocrity looks fantastic compared to everything when it's garbage. Because even like King Kong, Godzilla, the Godzilla movie that came out last year, I gave it a very generous review.
Right.
And at the end, I said I'm probably being way nicer than I should because it's not complete garbage like everything else.
Well, it's like The Mandalorian. I didn't love it, but I realized why everyone else, a lot of people did, because it was the first Star Wars since maybe
Episode 3.
It's the first Star Wars that was, semi-competent that we've gotten in the last 10 years.
In the last 10 years. And yes, there was some mistakes I felt like they did. And I did not like the whole Baby Yoda thing, the way they went with that.
I didn't like it either.
Oh my God. All Baby Yoda was there was to make sure
keys,
Rey.
man.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Keys.
Like, here, kids, look at this. But yet people get upset when you attack the Mandalorian because they feel like it's the word I just said. They feel like it's an attack when all you are doing is criticizing it.
Yeah, I actually got that show pretty heavily myself.
Well, I got
Me too. I got all 8 episodes where I kind of not quite destroy it, but I do pick apart its stupid stuff. And like even on the Bounding into Comics live streams that we did for it, we weren't head over heels for this show. We were like making legit questions as to why choices were being made in this way. And when we did see something good, we definitely highlighted it, but it was not as obvious.
It's like the show couldn't make up its fucking mind. Is it episodic or is it, serial.
Is it episodic or is it long form?
Yeah, long form. There we
Right.
go. Thank you.
Right.
There's
Serial
all
was a
these
good one.
things. There was a bunch of fucking filler in a series that is too short to have filler.
Yeah.
Yes, and the other thing that's also weird to note, Picard, the first 3 episodes are directed by the same person. That's kind of a rarity in any series. You either have the director do the whole series, or he does the pilot and he comes back for another episode.
Mhm.
But the reason I think they have that director credited for those 3 episodes is because he directed a very hefty pilot, probably about maybe an hour, 10 minutes, and then they recut that in with other episodes to make
Shit.
that the
Right.
first 3.
Right.
It's the only way it computes to me because the cinematography is slightly different for each episode. For most parts, the tone is very different from each of those 3 episodes. The editing is completely jarbled, and things don't get back into focus till episode 4. But even episode 4 is a cluster. It's the first one with Jonathan Frakes directing, if memory serves, and it's a bit
It
more
was definitely a more better directed episode.
better directed, a bit more coherent, but it was still dealing with content that just didn't resonate.
Can you just imagine for a minute, Stephen, if we had Ronald D. Moore in charge of Picard and had Thompson and Weddle come on and write
Well,
it?
it'd be entirely different. They'd already have 3 seasons mapped out. They'd already know where they were headed. They would already have episodes in season 1 that would be threaded in season 2. I mean, it would be a
And
total
that's
change.
it right there. That's
When,
it
when
right
I was
there.
in my 20s and the 90s, I actually had no idea that Ronald D. Moore was actually connected to the Star Trek until I started rewatching Next Gen.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, now it makes sense to bring the dude in.
Yep. So I'm going to back out, let
Yeah.
Final come back on. But real quick, I wanted to say that I have not been trying to drink as much soda as usual. And so today I bought myself a 1 liter. And this is for Script and Drew. I was like Admiral Ty today with a little ass cup, just measuring how much soda I had.
Nice. Did you find Boxy on the way to get your?
I did not find Boxy, no, but
Damn it!
I'm 3 fingers away from the bottom of the soda bottle, so I'm starting to get a little twitchy. Love you guys. Hail to the Fandom Menace. Thank you, Final, for letting me step in. Check out the Pegasus Actual podcast on Thursdays at 9 p.m. with Script Doctor, hashtag Script Doctor So White, and Supreme Heretic, Brian the Grave Digger, Raquel, and Bear Nerd Fun. If you enjoy good entertainment, Sci-Fi's playing Battlestar Galactica for free right now. You can follow us as we're talking about it. And thank you, brothers. Sporkin, love you.
I love you, man. I'll
Take
see
care,
you
Steven.
Later, brother.
Tuesday.
See you later. Yep, I'll see you.
Take
I'll
it
see
easy,
you
Steven.
Tuesday. See you later.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Take care.
All right, guys. I guess I'll back him out. There we go. Oops. Sorry, comics. Hold on. Sorry about that,
I
buddy.
see what you're trying to do.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're the name right now. You and Tom. I got to keep you guys on. So I just want to go with
Thanks,
some
I
of the. Yeah, no, that's a compliment, brother.
No, I appreciate it.
Here we got a couple people. So Mark is one of my favorite people. He when I first got into this fandom in the chats, Mark and Chris Persia and Christy were so friendly to me. So Mark, thank you. Mark says the meh DeLorean. So after that, I love that. That is a great one. But Nerd Cookies comes back with something that I think is important to say. Meh is better than woke.
Yep.
Very true.
Sadly,
Sadly
very
is,
accurate.
and that's maybe why I don't kill the Mandalorian, because it isn't woke. And you have Palanuki again saying Mandalorian has a lot of flaws, but at least it's respectful of what Star Wars is, and it's enjoyable. And
Well, and the whole point of criticism is to point out the things that are done right and the things that are done wrong because you want to see improvement. That's the main takeaway. Just because we criticize the things we love doesn't mean we hate it. We just want to see it be better.
It's almost like a
Correct.
disappointed parent. We know you can do better. Please give us better. We want to pay for it.
Well, at least the good thing about The Mandalorian is we can actually sit back and critique the show and critique it for a show. We don't have to worry about sitting there, just taking points off because it's in like total suck territory because of wokeness. We can actually critique it as a show. And that's why I at least, I have some respect for The Mandalorian because they do respect Star Wars. But it's just, God, I mean, we miss that so much as Star Wars fans. It's so easy to give it a pass. But yeah, we do kind of have to call it out, like in the parts where it's weak. But for the most part, it's still all right. Although it is like just a smidge above average when you think about it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And it is above average. It was well. I mean, we brought up that list. Oh God, who made me that list? I think it was TT. I think TT from the chat made me the list, and it was like the 9 ways a show is like SJW. And
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that list.
right, and like you compliment like the visuals, you compliment the soundtrack, there's
Compliment
like
the cast, but not the acting.
right, exactly. Like there's certain things in comics. I'll have to send it to you because it's funny, man.
That's
But it's
great.
it's one of those things where I was doing that SJW like complimenting of a show, even though it wasn't woke. So it was missing something. You know what I mean? Like I liked I liked the premise of the Mandalorian. I liked how it looked. Some of the characters I liked, but something about it I couldn't grab onto and love. And there was a YouTuber, and I'm not going to blast him because he's a really good guy, but he actually DM'd me after one of my Mandalorian episode reviews and says, "Do you like anything you watch?" He's like, "You really are a negative person." And I was like, "Dude, I'm not negative. I'm just critical of the things I enjoy." I love A Song of Ice and Fire, the book series from George R.R. Martin. They're amazing books. But the show, after the 4th season, started to suck. I am not going to pretend like I like something when I don't, but I'm also not going to fake dislike something if I like it. And
No,
I
I agree with you. That's one thing. I have someone, he's a Twitter friend, I guess is the best way of putting it. And I shared this article from CBR talking about how nobody really liked Watchmen apparently, or nobody watched it, and we kind of got into it back and forth. It's like, dude, stop being a fucking contrarian. Okay,
Right.
It's like there are things out there I like. But right now, entertainment is in such a bad place. There is a lot of garbage out there. And I'm not going to pretend that I like something
right.
just because it's negative or because I'm feigning positivity.
You're right.
It's
I
like
think
there
that's
are
the
people are
perfect way of
legitimately
putting it.
pissed off about what is going on in entertainment. Gary is like legit pissed about what's going on with Doctor Who because
It
he's a
affects his
fan.
soul, man. It affects his
It really
soul.
does. But he went out there and basically mocked him, saying, "You're just hate watching it." And it's like, dude, he fucking gives a shit about this show. He's legit pissed. But
see, that's
you're
their
just being a
quick-
fucking contrarian.
Exactly.
He's where I
That's-
was 5 years ago. I'm with
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
But that's
I just
that's
saw
it.
it way too early.
When you point out things that other people probably see but they don't want to admit, they attack. So a lot of the Star Trek fans, when people were talking about Discovery, they would attack them because yes, they realize that the show sucks, but they love anything Star Trek. So
But we exposed a vulnerability. That's the issue.
Maybe that's
People
the way
don't
of
like to
putting
be
it.
vulnerable, or people don't feel confident in their vulnerability. And you highlighted that great comment by Nerd Cookies. Star Wars fans have proven they can tolerate a lot of crap if you just give us what we want, i.e. putting up with Jar Jar to get Duel of the Fates. This is a truism in Hollywood. If a script is really, really good, you ignore some of the little issues with it because the good outweighs the bad. And because also nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect. And I think fans know that. And I think a lot of audiences know that, which is why we can tolerate certain discrepancies and still enjoy a movie. But when you do it on the inverse, where there's way more bad than there is good, you can't help but at least raise your voice and go, why the heck did I pay for this? This terrible piece of media.
Perfectly put, man. I'm gonna have to wrap this up though, guys. I got to get up in like 4 hours to go to work. I want to just say to everybody, please. I know you're either people are going far this way or that way with this Corona thing. Just be smart. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth when you're coughing. Stay away from people if you don't have to go around people. But don't also buy every roll of toilet paper you can find, every bottle of bleach. Like, just be smart. That's all I'm asking.
There's nothing wrong with getting prepared just to have stuff on hand. But my local grocery store had to they've limited their hours. They typically open at like 6 and run till about 1 a.m. They're now open 8 to 8, and they're limiting what people can buy, which is actually
really?
kinda smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there Friday. All the meat was cleared out. All like there was no paper in the building.
Of course.
There was the cat dog food section was hit really hard. The dry goods section was hit. No ramen, no rice and beans. There was no produce.
Wow.
It was fucking insane. I went back this morning, and I ended up picking up eggs and butter. And it's a good thing I did that because all that was gone.
Oh
No
yeah,
milk.
I was in Virginia on Friday, and I went to Costco because in Connecticut things were just gone. So I stopped Costco down here because no one's was really talking about it on Friday. Well, Costco was 40 deep to get to the cash register line, 40 deep just to get to the line itself. And there was people standing next to the paper towel, or excuse me, there was no paper towels, the toilet paper, because they just got a new shipment in, and you were only allowed one thing of toilet paper. If you tried to take two, they would ask you to give it back or they would kick you out. Everything, people are just insane. Someone started coughing in line, people freaked out. Like, people just need to chill a little bit, but be smart. I mean,
Agreed.
we're all adults, I hope, and just the way we act will keep our children calm. You know, they're the ones that are supposed to be getting scared over things like
the
this.
the key thing is not to panic and
Exactly.
be smart, because I stocked up on toilet paper and paper towels 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you can buy what you need. I mean, even if you don't have stuff, you can go and buy what you need, but don't bypass what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, most of us are going to be fine, and we take common sense precautions. We'll be a-okay. If you give in to irrational fear and panic buy, and I don't blame a lot of people, because most people are actually smarter than this. It's the people that just sit there. They see a trend on TV, like they see that footage from the Costco, California, and the next thing you know, everybody ran to the stores because, oh my God, other people are doing it.
Well, if everybody would go and buy a little bit more whenever they go shopping, you'd have stuff on hand for an emergency. But most people aren't proactive, and I'm pretty sure people started freaking out and immediately ran to YouTube and started searching how to prep, because it's like all the prepping food was immediately gone. Even like during the last 4 weeks, I would say you could see things were kind of going in waves. Like the powdered milk would run out. The rice and beans would be hit hard, but we're not out. The ramen would get hit hard. Stuff like that.
But Comics Division, even the stuff with the TP was so silly, because it's like,
well, that was all because of Australia. People freaked out.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's like my goodness, you're not going to ship that much. Just buy what you need. You buy.
I think what it is people don't know when it's going to come back in. It's
exactly.
Like if there is actually disruption, which there is probably going to be,
right?
That's why people are buying all that stuff.
But
they're afraid the system will not come back quick enough.
Yeah, but they don't realize they're the ones causing the supply chain disruption.
Well, that's it.
I think it's going to contribute, but there actually, I think, will be a supply chain disruption just because of what's going on with the beer bug.
Right.
But it won't be what we think. The supply in general won't be what we think it's going to be. It's going to be mostly like waters and produce and perishable goods, as opposed to paper. Like,
comics, that is awesome. I'm using that for now on beer bug. The beer bug definitely is one of those things where it's going to get worse wherever you are. If you're in America, it is going to get worse before it gets better. Be safe, everybody. That's all I can say. I do have to end this. Tom, I know you got to get going pretty darn soon. So if you need to bounce out, please, let everybody know where you are and where they can find you.
You can just find me at Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark. Thank you so much, Sporking, and everybody else.
Tom, thank you, buddy. Thanks,
Great
Tom.
hanging with you, Tom. Take care, man.
Tom,
Take care, everybody.
Take it easy, Tom.
You as always.
Yep, and I might do this next week, Tom. So if you're available, let me know, buddy.
Sounds good. Just let me know. Take care, guys.
All right, bye, bud. Now that we got rid of Tom, we can go for a few more minutes. We will close it down soon, but does anybody have any last thoughts or comments they'd like to make?
No,
I do.
Why don't we go with Final first because he hasn't
Go ahead,
spoken in a
Final.
bit?
Yeah.
So I do. This isn't fear mongering, but one of my wife and I are close friends had just sent me this text. So I cropped out the names, but it just sent me this text. I'm going to share it. I don't know if this is true. It's one of her friends, so it's like a friend of a friend thing. But
Good way to blame her.
it could
I like
be.
it.
Yeah. Well, you don't know sometimes when you get information, but if there is validity to it, then it could be. We've already seen steps that seem to be going this direction. So I wouldn't be surprised.
He already did.
I also had a friend that again has a friend in the CDC yesterday who told me something very similar. I saw the email that he had sent to my friend, and it said something very similar to this.
So the Stafford Act goes back to it was created in the 80s. The
Right.
Stafford Act, what the Stafford Act does is does give him a lot of power, but it also he already pretty much enacted that.
Right, it's kind of the
So
national
it-
emergency that he enacted.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
He just to get the money flow. Now he might say he wants people to self quarantine and you will not be held by your company. They can't fire you over it.
Right.
He might even make it mandatory. That would be martial law though.
That
So
would be
that's a
martial
little
law.
bit different.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
It'd be
I
martial law
think
for
martial law
cops
is-
or military on the streets. Yeah.
Isn't martial law underneath the Stafford Act though?
There might
Stafford Act's kind of an
may be.
umbrella of it.
It
Yeah.
does have an umbrella. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I do know the Stafford Act gives him capability to use that $50 billion any way he sees fit for this, and also may be able to do that. But I think it's going to more likely be, look, we're giving you 2 weeks paid. Everyone qualifies for it. If you have a job, you qualify for it. You know what I mean? Like free
Yeah,
testing,
just-
things like that.
Right.
So it is a good thing to have out there, though. For
You never
us
know.
to see, because you never
because
know.
we like Hoboken, New Jersey just set a
curfew.
curfew, yeah, from 10 p.m.
Yeah.
to 5 a.m. So there's already sort of measures like this that are starting to pop up,
You're right.
and then here in California, we're told to close down bars and
But again,
nightclubs and such. But so.
But
I don't
don't
know.
forget-
I just thought I'd share it because we were
right.
live, and I just
and
got it.
you're
right now, so.
absolutely right. After,
Okay.
I mean, look at Ohio and
Yeah.
Drew, you can speak on this in a second, but just remember, 2 weeks, people, you don't need 60 rolls of toilet paper.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's true.
Very
and you
very
can
Bundle will
survive
cover you.
3 weeks without food, so you don't need that much food either.
Exactly. But Drew, when are they closing down bars and restaurants? That's 9 p.m. tonight in Ohio, so it already happened.
Yeah, so it's already closed because over here now it's 10:34 p.m. So everything closed about an hour and a half ago, and they're still letting them stay open for like
Takeout.
carry out service, but yeah, I mean they're closing at least their inside operation by 9 p.m. and I imagine that they're going to like keep that going indefinitely from the way that the order read for that. So yeah, that's going to be until further notice. And from that text that Final got, it's common sense. If you're going through, if there's going to be a crisis like this, then sure, I obviously the average thing that you want to have is try to have a 3-week supply of everything to cover yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Just like Game Motron says, thanks for the stream. I have to wake up early in the morning to buy all the vegetable oil for.
Reasons.
And every time I hear anybody say reasons, I think of you, comics, because the way you do it in your videos is just that.
Because
Vegetable oil, pause.
reasons.
Yeah. I gotta clip that. All right, man. Well, thank you guys. Anybody else? Last thoughts? Last comments? And we'll go around right after that and tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, I got some final things. Just everyone, stay calm. I mean, panic doesn't do anybody any good. Just prepare yourself for the worst, hope for the best, and just don't freak out. I mean, live your life. Don't let the fear of the the beer bug scare you from living your life. That's I think the most important thing right now. But be smart. Be smart. Do what you need to do. Get your family prepared for this. There will be disruption, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one last thing real quick, and this is like to, everybody out there that's a content creator, and I tweeted this the other day, and no matter if you're on this platform, Twitch, D Live, Mixer, doesn't matter. Right now, a lot of people with a lot of things at a standstill are going to turn to us for information, for entertainment, for just to put a smile on their face. So put your creative hat on, have some fun. Even if you've never done a stream before and you have the capability to, click that go live button, have fun. If you have OBS, fire up a video game, do a game stream, whatever you like to do. But if we can band together, make each other smile, get information out there, entertainment out there, hey, we're the ones doing it, because they ain't going to get it anywhere else. So they're going to come to us right now. So enjoy, guys.
Nice.
And
Thank you.
I will add to that. If you're not going to game and you're going to spend time with your loved ones, practice the 2 Ps, prophylactic and pulling out, because we don't want another baby boom on our hand.
Oh, dude, we will have the beer bug boom. Yeah,
the beer bug boom. Yeah.
Final, you have anything?
Quarantinis.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
no,
want to
I mean,
avoid the
that was-
C word. That way you don't get suppressed by YouTube, because they're
right.
doing that.
Yeah. I kind of noticed that on one of my last video I did has not really done as well as my last 4, and I had listed it with the beer bug virus originally, and yeah, I think they're definitely targeting.
No, they are doing it. I mean, if you watch Tim Pool, they're talking about how they're going to let him be able to talk about it and not suppress his videos. YouTube is actively suppressing content that's talking about the beer bug.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, there's a show. There's a show
I
on
better
Netflix.
change my tags on this one.
Yeah, I know. There's a show on Netflix called Containment.
Yes.
I just finished it. It's from a couple years ago. It's only one season. It's like 10 episodes or 10 or 12 episodes.
Oh.
And inside of this show, they there's an outbreak in an area of Atlanta, and they quarantine the area off. And they're using shipping containers, and they shut the internet down because of all the media that's getting to them, and it's freaking them out more. So they shut down the internet, and so they have no communication. They shut down all communications. Yeah. So that whole area is they didn't shut up electricity, but just all communications are shut down because of the fear, that social media was spreading.
Well, that's very scary to think about, man. And if you also want to watch another one to freak you out a bit, check out, I think the movie was Contagion, and it's with Gwyneth Paltrow. I might be
right.
Years ago. I remember that.
That's
also Hot Zone, that miniseries.
Hot Zone. Read the book first, because the book is fantastic.
Hot Zone. Oh, I don't know about that one.
It came out in the 80s, 90s.
When it came out in the 80s. We had to read it in high school because we were prepared for this type of stuff, because I had a really good social science teacher. But it's a really good book. Yeah. And what it does to the body on you're on an airplane, it's cool. I mean,
if you also want to freak yourself out and you want to do something on the gaming side, hey, go and play Tom Clancy's The Division or Tom Clancy's The Division 2. And, you can live out the fantasy of fighting in the middle of a pandemic.
Is that what it is? Is it actually a pandemic?
Oh, yeah. The Division, actually, if you play the game, the storyline is really trippy with what's going on now, because it is nearly spot on.
Well, I want to know that they have this thing, and Tim Pool talked about it, and I can't remember if it's like Presidential Order 51 or something like that, where they can restructure the government.
They actually Comics Division, in the storyline of the first Division game, they actually directly reference DHS Directive 51.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's a real thing that was implemented by George Bush, and that's something, if you think about it, because this is an election year, and if you can't have large gatherings, this is going to affect the Democratic primaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what happens if we can't get a Democratic presidential candidate?
I'm crying crocodile tears.
Well, I know, but you think about Directive 51 being
you'd have a hung election, and I think a temporary leader would be the Speaker of the House until things can reorganizing and a new election will be done.
It takes
I
the
think so.
Canadian
I don't
to know what.
a whole, I know a decent amount of your type of politics. I'm mostly familiar with parliamentary because
Oh God, I hope it's not the Speaker of the House.
Pelosi.
Well, that
President
is-
Pelosi.
Speaker of the House is third in line, so if something does happen, it would go to them. But I just don't know about. They do have
Yeah.
enough delegates right now where they can call a winner. It might be something. Look, the
they can
Democrats
figure out a
changed
way
the
to do it
rules.
digitally and remotely.
Exactly, but the primaries are different. They could change the rules and have just the super delegates elect whoever they want, so they could figure it out.
Biden.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Exactly.
No.
All right, boys, let's close it up. So let's start with Drew. Where can they find you? And thank you for being here, buddy.
Oh man, Scott, it is always a pleasure hanging out with you, my friend, and I thank you for giving me the time and just being able to catch up with you in final, man. It was great, and hanging out with, of course, my buddy SD and sharing some time with Comics Division. It was awesome. And you can find me obviously on my channel, youtube.com/Supreme Heretic. And of course, you can read me on Bounding Into Comics. I have no idea, you guys, what I'm going to be writing about after tomorrow, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Good luck with that, my friend. Check out Drew at Bounding Into Comics and Script Doctor.
Oh, yeah. You can subscribe to Scott at Sporking News Podcast if you haven't already. He does a great show. He's got some funny commentary videos. And I like his little voice he does for the warning message at the start. It's quite funny.
Warning.
I have a YouTube channel. It's got some reviews on there. It's Script Doctor, youtube.com/ScriptDoctor. And yeah, you can also follow me on Twitter at ScriptDoctorPhD. Yeah, I got 2 Picard videos coming out this week, and if I do get quarantined, they'll be out a lot faster. So cross your fingers, I guess. I don't know.
Script Doctor is also the whitest man in existence.
Yes, he is, and he's one of my. These 2 guys right here. No disrespect to anybody else, but Script Doctor and Comics Division, their videos, I don't miss them. I really enjoy both your content a lot. You're very knowledgeable, and I really enjoy it. So please,
You think I'm knowledgeable? Wow, I got you fooled.
You do, dude. You do, and it still freaks me out seeing you on camera on Friday nights because my view of you is a cartoon, so it's really weird.
I think that freaked a lot of people out.
I really do, man, because you look different than what you think the voice would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I mean, you look like you can, like, I don't know, like be in some type of like the cool guy in the 90s teen movie. I don't know how to explain it.
That's what you think I look like?
You look like yeah, dude, you look like someone who probably can kick most people's asses also. I don't know. You're pulling it off, buddy. You're pulling
Well,
it
with the
off.
facial hair he has, I can totally understand why he's happily married.
Yeah, right.
Well, the funny thing is, okay, so I used to have like really long hair. So I used to get accused of being like a rocker or a musician or whatever all the time, man, because I had the long hair. And I also, there's plenty of times too where I've gotten accused of being a drug dealer. Like I was leaving my friend's apartment and we're walking past the pool to go to my car and, go get some food. And there's like these dudes and they're like, "Hey, you got any weed?" I'm like, no, I'm not a dealer. He's like, "Well, I gotta get high." I'm like, "Great." And then a couple of years later, this is after I cut my hair. It's like my this is my, I wouldn't say my first time being a consultant, but I get hired on as a consultant. This is my first gig, and our account manager is there, and he looks over to my boss. He's like, "Hey, man, you weren't supposed to hire your ecstasy dealer." I'm like, "Fucking Christ, what is it with the way I look?"
That's awesome.
The piercings don't help either, I guess.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, all you need is like a wallet with a chain to your front. You know the old, that one?
Man, that is old.
Come on, I know you have
Chain it to your
one.
belt and have another chain that goes to a
I
piercing.
knew it. Comics, I knew it, dude. But you're the type of guy that could pull it off. I do it, and it's like, "Hey, old fat guy, stop, you bald prick." So,
Well, you would probably rock it because you look a little bit more hardcore than I do. I mean, that's the thing,
hardcore,
man.
wow.
It's
I got you fooled.
it's like I guess I got everyone. It's funny because everyone keeps calling me Wayne Static, saying okay Wayne Static, and it's like that's fucking hilarious.
That's awesome. So please, everybody, check out Comics Division. He has his own channel, which is fantastic. He's always on Friday Night Tights with Gary. Is there any other ones you want to plug?
Live stream wise, or I could plug my channel.
Yeah, please plug your channel.
Yeah, just look for Comics Division on YouTube and at Comics Division on Twitter. I occasionally make videos. I'm actually gonna be making one tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I it's like I tried like on 3 to 4 separate occasions to make a video last week, and there was like absolutely nothing I wanted to talk about.
That's the rough part, man.
Yeah.
I've been in a hotel now for over a week, and I thought, oh, I don't have the kids. I could do whatever type of filming and recording I want. I have had no feelings to do any of it because it's all depressing.
Well, there's that. It's like I have a hard time. I'm gonna do like a Picard season review. I was doing the long form reviews, that was literally taking me a week to do, and it would set me really far behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I started episode 3, and that's when I started doing the on camera stuff too. It's like fuck, now I gotta go re-record half of that. So I was like, screw
Right.
it.
Yeah, I hear you on that, brother.
But
Yeah,
the thing
they
is, I
take
don't want to talk about stuff I don't care about. I'm not going to talk
Exactly.
about Doctor Who. I mean,
Well,
I
you know
dumped out
why?
of Doctor Who after the 10th Doctor, so.
And we also have to remember our subscribers and viewers are smart, and they will smell that. They will see that you don't like or know what the hell you're talking about if you really don't like or know what you're talking about. And that's why I love this fandom, because they will let you know that you're being a poser.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly. But the video I'm going to be making is going to be talking about the gender swapping of Stormfront in season 2 of The Boys, and I got all of the issues off of Comixology. I read all The Boys, which was a great deconstruction of the superhero genre, and it was done very well. And then after that I watched season 1, and I'm like, this show sucks compared.
Oh, see, I didn't read the
comic.
comics. I didn't read the comics, but I do like the
so
show.
different. They changed
Is it really?
so much.
Yeah,
yes.
the comics go further with the dark approach while keeping it in a very kind of light atmosphere for like the heroes on the publicity side of things. I mean, it really plays around with a lot of ideas.
Well, yeah, and they
like
made a lot of
88 issues,
changes
I think.
to noir and
Well, you barely see him in the show.
yeah, but he actually plays a very pivotal role in the comic series
Yes.
at the end, and it's like you can't race swap them. That is very much important to the story, but they changed everything in this series. So it's like, because first off, all of them are supposed to be on Compound V. They're all supposed to be soups at this point.
Oh, they all, yeah, right.
all
right.
of them. Even the whole thing with Butcher.
Right.
When he's introduced, literally in issue 3, he injects Huey with it. And the other thing that pisses me off is that Huey has to be Scottish, because that is also very important to the character.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
didn't know. Oh, I'm gonna have to read
Yeah.
this, man.
It's-
So
it-
even
dude,
the
it's-
humans are using the V.
Yeah, well, it's a long story, and it's done really well, and it's a good criticism too of corporatization in the military-industrial complex. And maybe he was criticizing capitalism, but my interpretation was more corporatism.
Yeah,
But I
it's
could even
done
see
really
that. I
well.
could see that in the show. Like they go after that, and that's what I enjoy about it. Like they're showing that corporatism in the military industrial complex. I find that really interesting, how they're like blackmailing people and getting involved and trying to get these guys to become soldiers, pretty much to take over the country.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
Well, Vought had been trying to do it since World War II, and it was just a complete disaster. And it's the reason why Mallory was so against it. But they went and they race swapped Mallory, and that's another character that it's very important for him to be male because he was in World War II.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to read this now.
Is it true that Nerdrotics is in?
Yeah, he is. He
he's in a
is.
couple issues.
Yeah. He's
Wow,
he's in one of the issues. He's like a warehouse
comic
worker.
book store owner?
Now,
No,
is
he's
this
a
one of
warehouse
those?
worker.
Is this one of those comic books that's going to be hard to get, or is
No,
it?
you can find it quite easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm gonna have
If
to
not,
check
I
it out.
will. I can send you some digital scans that I got when I was hired to do some adaptations of some things way back. So
You can also buy the
That's
entire
awesome.
series off of Comixology. That's
Yeah.
how I got it. And I'm pretty
okay,
sure you
yeah,
can
I
find the
have that.
graphic novel off of Amazon as well. Or the
Sweet.
trades, I should say.
All right. Thank you, man.
It's
And
great, dude. Dude, fucking read. It's great.
I will. I definitely will. I'll let you know what I think. Maybe we. I want to let you guys know too. I will be doing this again next Sunday at around probably 8:00, a little bit earlier. So if anybody wants to jump on, just I'll shoot you a message this week if you guys are available.
Go for it, man.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
we all may have a lot of free time coming up here.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
So, we might all be. I'm already. My work closed at least for 2 weeks at least as of now. So I have a lot of free time.
Not say what I do, but in my field, it'd be hard for me to think they're going to close it, but we'll see. Final Death Star, where can they find you?
At Final Death Star, my own YouTube channel, Final Death Star, or at Final Death Star 1 on Twitter. And I'm kind of. I have a lot of free time, so I guess I'll be live streaming. If you guys want to live stream, you can always hit me up. And because I don't know what videos to do now. The news is going to be slowing. It's slowed down already. I might just watch older shows I haven't seen yet, and I don't know, just do videos on those just for the heck of it.
Yeah, do a retro review of something you like.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, retro
yeah.
reviews. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll end up doing.
And don't forget, they can find you Fourth Wave.
Oh, and the Fourth Wave, of course. Yeah, Saturday on the Fourth Wave. And the Fourth Wave Late Edition on usually Saturday nights.
Yep. So if anybody
On Bear's
missed
channel.
that, we have it. We've made we reorged the Fourth Wave. So now instead of a Wednesday show, we're having 2 Saturday shows. We are having our 6 p.m. Eastern time, the Fourth Wave show with myself and Steven heading it up, and the other guys jumping in and out if they want to. And then there's going to be a West Coast one where Bear Nerd Fun is the general with Final running it too. And we're trying to take over Saturdays, kamikaze style, I guess. So there will no longer be the Wednesday show. We're also going to do a show myself. I'm just going to throw this out there. So it's myself, Steven, Lorena Creole, and Jane Theory. We're having a show on Tuesday nights. I don't know if it's starting this Tuesday or next Tuesday. More information will come on that. Please make sure you guys subscribe to Steven's channel so you can keep up on that because it will be on his channel mostly. But I really appreciate you guys coming. I'd like to also give a shout out to a couple of the people in the chat. We had Angela Straven, Lorena Creole, According to Christy, who else? Mark Lazar, Palanuki, Classy Cannabis jumped in. I don't know him, but I love him. Philip Gaming, Nerd Cookies. Again, please subscribe to Nerd Cookies. We had
Tyler Mango.
Yeah, Tyler Mango, the mascot, was here. And my thing doesn't go far enough back. I know Bear Nerd Fun was here. Everybody who stopped by, my brother, everybody, thank you very much. I hope everybody has a great night. We'll sign off as I always do. Remember, if they're calling you names, they have already lost the war. Have a great night, everybody.